Hello, Emmaus Road. As we prepare for our first live service in 19 weeks, I thought it would be helpful for me to show you the place so that you have all the information you need as you make your decision regarding worship in the weeks to come. Hey, the first thing you'll want to be sure to have is your mask on. Make sure and bring your own, as these will be required, and what a great way to show love of neighbor in these days. If you forget yours at home, we do have some for you to be able to use, but we encourage everyone to bring their own. The first thing you notice as you come into our courtyard is we have a tent set up for outdoor fellowship. So before and after service, we encourage you to catch up with your friends in this beautiful outdoor space that we have. And then as the service is getting ready to start, make sure that you follow our one direction traffic flow. We encourage everyone to enter in through our welcome center and then exit after the service through the sanctuary foyer. Once you've come into the Welcome Center, we do ask that everyone fill out a sign-in sheet. What this does is it helps us have a record of who's been here on what Sundays for the purpose of contact tracing, and the sign-in sheet does include a simple yes/no question related to COVID symptoms. Now remember, if you're sick or if you've been traveling out of state, consider worshiping with us online from home for a couple of weeks before returning to us in person for the services. After signing in our Welcome Center, then feel free to make your way to our sanctuary. The sanctuary is a familiar space to all of us, but it does look different in these days. You'll notice we have set up household seating that is socially distanced. So we encourage you to sit with your household, and all services will be intergenerational, and we won't have any eKids programming for now. And while we're happy to be back in the sanctuary and offering live services, it won't be what we're used to. So let me explain some of the differences. The first thing is services will be shorter. Our goal is to provide a great worship experience in 45 to 60 minutes. The second thing is we'll be utilizing both live and pre-recorded elements. Doing this allows us to continue to keep the greatest number of people in our community involved and contributing in our worship life. And so from week to week, maybe the call to worship, the benediction, scripture readings will have pre-recorded elements, while other elements will be offered live and in person. And of course, the whole service will be streamed online. The other thing we want to mention about the Sunday morning experience is it's going to be as touchless as possible. That means we won't be passing the offering plate, but instead encourage you to give with our giving boxes that are located in the foyer. And then for communion, since we can't all gather around and come to the table and share like we normally would, we have pre-packaged communion elements that will be seated on each chair for our table practices. And so that is there for you as well. The other thing for our touchless environment is we won't be handing out any bulletins, but there are still great ways to stay in touch with what's happening at Emmaus Road. The first is check our social media feeds, as we often post events and things that are going on there. The email newsletter is your central source for everything happening at Emmaus Road and all the information that you need to see. That now goes out on Fridays instead of Tuesdays, so watch your inbox starting this Friday. And then, of course, you can always check the Church Center app, which is a great app where you can give, you can check out our life groups, you can also see all the events that are happening there. Now, I know that the Sunday morning experience with pre-recorded elements and live elements and socially distanced seating and wearing a mask, it'll all feel really different. And this is difficult because especially when it comes to worship habits, we want what's familiar. But what better time than now to remind ourselves that the center of the life of the church is not found in our programming, but it is found in our connection with one another and in the lives that we live. And so let's love our neighbors and one another well by following these guidelines diligently and doing our best to stay connected in these days. Speaking of being connected, if you're a family or a household that chooses to worship from home in these days, we want to know that we will continue to offer our post-service Zoom call for you to be connected. Our hope, our goal is that every single family, every household that calls Emmaus Road their church home would make an effort for this single point of connection after church on Sundays. Grace is going to be leading those calls with activities, games, points of discussion, lots of different ideas, all in 20 or 30 minutes. And so we encourage you to get involved, stay connected, and make sure that you're seeing folks that call Emmaus Road their home. We love you. We honor your decision of how you choose to worship in these days, and we look forward to seeing you this Sunday, whether in person or online.